I didn't leave Australia at all till I was 27 years old. And if I think about what I studied at university on the Romantic poets, I had no idea what those poets were talking about when they talked about spring and daffodils. And when I went to the UK for the first time, straight to the stage of the Royal National Theatre to do a show on Brecht, I suddenly started to understand that all the things that I had been supposed to be learning, I had really no idea about until I travelled. And I think that there lies the nub of intercultural dialogue. I think there are so many things, for all the beauties and the advantages of the digital world, until you're actually actively engaged in an association with another country and often in its place, that thing that is difficult because of travel these days. I think when you're there you start to understand things, and I think culturally it couldn't be more important. We can do artistic expression of all kinds, and we do in our own countries, but the minute you start talking to and collaborating with other artists from other places, from other cultures, you start to expand your horizons and your ambitions in ways that you didn't even dream of. And I would probably say that the value of this particular dialogue is that is just as important for administrators, cultural leaders, the people involved in policy, as it is for artists themselves. One of the great challenges we've had over the years is trying to get politicians, whether at the local or state or national level, to go to other places and see what a festival, for instance, is like in another place, to get that sense of what can be achieved culturally that's different from where we do it and bring the best ideas back. I think the dialogue is doing exactly that. We get to exchange ideas. The more we can speak with each other, the more we can collaborate. The word consortium has been used this morning, actually not just talking to each other about ideas, but gathering together and working together on getting the very best out of what we have as our resources. That's the kind of thing that this dialogue is promoting. There's something about languages that's very important, and one of the deficits at the moment, I would have thought, is we're not getting enough different language performance in Australia. It used to be, I think, certainly when I started looking at festivals, there did seem to be a plethora of what was called foreign language performance, and you would battle in whatever way you could to understand. You would have a text, you would have surtitles, you would have simultaneous translations sometimes. I wonder why, maybe it is because of the predominance of the English language becoming an international language, much to the chagrin of the French, I have to say, and I'm a little sad about that myself. When you put things in different languages and you hear it in a different language, you start to experience a difference in culture at a very, very different level. I think it's something to do, it's exactly the way we have a different feeling when we hear sung words than when we hear spoken words. I know that if in a speech I'm speaking and suddenly just break into song, something totally different happens. I think the same things happen in languages, and I wish there was a little bit more about that. And I mean, the miracle of the great good fortune that I had in my career was that through the director, Wal Cherry, and the person he brought out to be the dramaturg on the Thripney Opera, John Willett, I was able to learn everything I need, having never been to drama school and never learnt music, no formal training. I was able to learn from these two mentors everything I needed to step onto the stage of the Royal National Theatre, having never travelled outside Australia before, and create a successful international career from that. And I think that was an incredibly important thing. And I mean, we did that show at the National in English. And one of the reasons we did it in English was because John Willett said, if you've got an English-speaking audience, you must sing these songs in a language they understand. But of course, at the same time, I was learning to be able to sing in Germany, which I've done at the Brecht Festival subsequently. But I think that there's something very it's part of the depth and complexity that I long for in any cultural expression today, and why I get a little bit nervous about the abbreviated TikTok approach. I know it reaches a big audience, but somehow I hope that we don't lose depth, complexity, slow living.